There are many areas in the company setup that require you to set up an HTML email. Thankfully, there's a couple of ways that you can edit these email templates. And the first way we're going to talk about is in Notepad. But the first thing we want to do is we want to head over to the main menu. And we're going to click on Settings and Company Setup. And the last four areas here in the Setup tab, the Payments and Refunds, the Order Entry, Purchase Orders, and Art, you're going to find a lot of HTML email setup inside of these. The one we're going to focus on right now is in the Art section. And we're going to take this Send Art Approval email template, and we're going to copy the HTML that's in here and we're going to paste it into Notepad so that we can do some editing with it. Now, the good news is if we mess anything up, we can always come back here and hit the Restore button, and it puts it back to what was originally in there. Notice you also have a little preview button here, so we can actually click on this to see what the email template looks like now. And then there's a few things that we're going to alter here. For example, I don't like the hi here, so I'm just going to get rid of the hi. I'll probably change some verbiage in here. I'll probably change some verbiage here. And then I want to show you how to change these variables. So this particular one is for the rep's name. And I actually want to change this to company name. I don't want the sales rep's name in here. I want the company's name in here. And then over here on rep cell, I actually want the company phone number there and not the rep's cell phone number. And then this visit us online, if I want it to say something different like visit our website, I can actually change that as well. And then some of you don't have a YouTube channel, or maybe you're not on LinkedIn, or maybe you don't have an Instagram. So I want to show you how to remove these little icons as well. So what happens when your customer gets this email, they can actually click on this little icon logo, and it'll take them to your Twitter account. It'll take them to your Facebook page. And this was done in the company setup. But some of you don't have a YouTube channel. Some of you don't have an Instagram account. So we really don't want those icons appearing on the email. And then this verbiage down below is great on orders, but maybe I want it to say something different on the art approval, or maybe I want it to say something different on the purchase order one. So being able to know how to edit this will be important as well. Okay, let's get started. Let's go ahead and close out of this print preview. We're going to click in this area right here, and all I'm going to do is hit Control A, and it's going to select all of the HTML text inside of here. And as you can see, what I did is I actually clicked on this little corner icon and just dragged it down just so I could see, yeah, it really did select everything. And now I'm going to hit Control C. I've already got my Notepad open, and I'm going to click to expand that, and I'm going to Control V, paste in that text. And the reason that I'm using Notepad is a couple of reasons. It's kind of easy to edit in Notepad without actually screwing something up inside Teesom. And yes, I know I have the Restore button, but just for me, somebody that doesn't like to mess something up unless I absolutely have to. It's just kind of easier for me to edit this in Notepad. And then the other reason is I can actually save this. I'm going to first save it as a text file. So I'm going to call it Send Art Approval. And I'm just going to save that in my documents. So we'll call this Send Art Approval and hit Save. And so now I can edit away this document. But what ultimately I'm going to do is I'm going to do another Save As, and I'm going to change that text ending to HTML. And when I hit Save, I'll now search for that HTML. So I'm going to do the send art approval HTML. And here it gives me a preview. So now that's the one I want to edit. And anytime I make an edit to this, I can then just do a search for that HTML, click on the link to open it, and I can see the changes as I do them. So let's do our first change. In the edit dropdown, I'm going to use the find option, and I want it to find the word hi. And I'm going to click on find. By the way, you may want to check off these two options here if they're not checked off that says match case and wrap around. I'm going to go ahead and hit find. And then as you can see, it found it down below. Let me scroll a little bit so you can see that. And all I want to do is I want to get rid of that hi. I just want it to say the person's name and no greeting, no nothing. So let me close out of this, and now I'm going to do, it's already in the HTML mode, so all I'm going to do is hit save, and then I'm going to do a search for that HTML email again. So we called it send art, and there it is right here. All I'm going to do is click on it, and look, the hi word is gone. It's now just going to say the person's name. Now, the reason it's not showing the customer's name right now is because this is a variable field and it needs Teesom to populate that information. And right now we're viewing this outside of Teesom, so it's just showing me the variable field, not the actual customer's name. And that's good. I want it to show me what field it's going to use. And then when I copy this HTML back into Teesom and actually send an email, it will actually populate the customer's name in this situation. It'll actually type in the order description here. It'll actually put in the information here. And all of those fields will get populated with the correct information. All right, let's close out of our two temp folders here. And let's go back to our notepad and let's make another change. Let's look for the verbiage where it says your order. So I'm going to do a find and I'm going to type in your, actually I don't think it's capitalized, your order, and hit find next. Oh, and there it is. It's right there. So rather than the word order, I just want it to say your job. And then I want it to say that here's the variable field. And by the way, you can see a whole list of all the variables in the manual. So let's actually look at that real quick. I'm going to click on a web browser and I'm going to go to the Teesom manual. And then I'm going to do a search for, I'm just going to type in HTML and then I'll hit search. And look, right there at the top, HTML variables list. And here's the documentation. It'll give you kind of a rundown of what the variables are and how they're used. And then here's all the different ones. You can have my company website. And then look what it says. This will display the company URL that was entered in the company setup in main menu, settings, company setup, etc. Here's the Facebook. And this is going to create the URL link to your Facebook account that you created in the My Company setup. So I can use all these variable fields to further give information to my client. All right, let's jump back to our notepad. Okay, the next thing we're going to search for is, and this one I can actually just kind of scroll and look for it. So here's where we change your order to your job. And then it says is ready for approval. By the way, be careful about deleting anything like this. A BR is like a page break or a line break, I should say. And, we don't want to get rid of anything like that because it'll throw off your formatting. But feel free to edit the text that is just the verbiage, or change a variable to another variable if that one works better for you. Okay, so we're looking for the your approvals must be backed by, etc., etc. So I just want to change this verbiage a little bit I want it to say, rather than please note, I just want it to say your approvals, and let's add must be back by, and then the art due date, in order to meet your expected date deadline. And then I want to add some verbiage in there. I want it to say now, click the button below to view and submit. Sorry, I want a lowercase. And then period. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the button that says, I think it says to or view now or something like that. Oh, it says view approval. I want the button to actually say view approval and submit. So I'm just going to use the ampersand and then submit. All right, let's go ahead and save this and let's view it again. So again, I'm just going to do a search for my send art approval, the HTML version. This is what I'll double click on to go into a print preview. And look, my button has changed to view approval and submit. And then my verbiage up above, click the button below to view and submit, was in. So very, very easy to edit the text. Okay, now we're going to change the rep name to the my company name. If we go back to our HTML variables, and here it is. No, it's the my company name. So my company website, it's my company name. So company name would be your customer's name. My company name would be my name. Okay, so let's go back to Notepad, and I can do that search for, let's do the search for rep name and see if it finds it without the brackets. Yeah, there it is. And so there's rep name, and let's find the next one. There's another rep name, and this is the one that I want. Okay, so I'm going to change this to my company name. And then let's search for rep cell. There's the rep cell. There's the real one that I want. And I want this to be my company phone. No spaces. And let's do the next one too. My company phone. Okay, and let's go ahead and close out of this and save. And now let's view it. So send art, and we're looking for that HTML, and there we go. My company name, my company phone. Now the biggest thing is going to be, does this actually work in the email? So did I type the variable correctly and everything? So once I'm done editing all my changes, I will now take the final HTML from my Notepad document. So let's go ahead and go back up to the top, just kind of put your cursor in there, do a Control-A and do copy. And now let's go back to Teesom and paste that in. And I've already got everything selected, so I'm just going to do a paste. And then click out of the field so that you get the success button to show that it actually saved. Okay, let's go ahead and send an email using this and see if everything gets populated. Okay, I'm going to head back to the job board. I'm going to find a job here. Okay, here's something where the art is done, but the customer hasn't replied back yet, so I'm going to send the art approval again. So let's click on send approval request. We're just going to leave it on the simple approval and go ahead and hit send. Oh, new feature. I got to select somebody. Go ahead and hit send. And now let me jump back over to the email where that will actually show up at. And there we have it. I'm going to go ahead and click on the art approval, and look, our changes. It doesn't say hi anymore. It just says Bob. Your job, ProChat Tees, is ready for approval. Your approvals must be back by 9/19. To meet this deadline, click on the button below to view and submit. View approval and submit. Look how the button is now changed. It now says our company name, and then this is the company phone number. It's no longer the rep name and the rep's phone number. And in a minute, I'll show you how to get rid of these, but I just wanted to show you how that it is picking up all the fields now. And then, of course, we can click on the view approval and submit. Okay, let's go back to our notepad, and we're going to go ahead and edit these buttons out. And I'll show you. This one's a little bit trickier because you could do some damage, and that's why I did a save first and doing this separately. Okay, so let's go back over here, and I'm just going to go up to the top, and I'm going to hit that edit button, and I'm going to hit find. And this time I'm just going to type in YouTube and hit find. And there we go. It found the YouTube. Okay, so this one, like I said, is a little bit trickier. To get rid of the button, I'm going to have to take everything where it starts from the bracket here all the way to where the bracket ends. So usually when you have an open bracket and then a closed bracket, that's taking everything that's inside of there. So I'm just going to hit the delete button. You don't have to get rid of spaces. You don't have to do anything to that effect. Just take it from where the open bracket starts and to where the end bracket ends. Okay, so we got rid of the YouTube one, and let's get rid of the LinkedIn one. So here's Instagram, here's LinkedIn, here's Facebook. So again, the open bracket all the way down to the end bracket and delete. And let's go ahead and hit save. And we can view the send art HTML again, just to see if it really did get rid of the buttons. Okay, now if you look at this, we did need to get rid of something else, that little spacing in there. So let's jump back to the notepad, and it's probably, I would guess, this area right here, and we may actually need to go down to here to get rid of that. So let's see if that helps. And let's go ahead and hit save. And, oh, typed the wrong thing in. There we go. And look, there we go. Now it's just the three icons, and they're perfectly formatted. So again, you can play with it. Maybe you want to save this as send art approval version 1, send art approval version 2, and just always revert back to the previous revision. And that may help you as well. Okay, so now I think you have a good idea of what you're looking for and a little bit more how to edit this. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to use MailChimp to actually design an email template and then copy that HTML out of MailChimp and then paste it into Teesom. To me, this is like way more advanced. You can actually even do the editing inside of Teesom. Again, I just prefer Notepad. Just because that's me. That's how I like to do it. But you can actually go to settings, company setup, go to the art folder, expand it, and then just pull this out. And within your browser, you can actually do a find. So here on the little button up here in Chrome, click on find and then look for YouTube. And you can find that, and you can take that information, let's go to the and delete it out. There you go. Now you've got the YouTube button gone. So you can do your editing inside Teesom, and then again, if you mess something up, just hit the restore button. But that will take it all the way back to what came in with the program. So that's kind of why I like using Notepad. Is I'll make a change, save it, and then I'll have something to revert back to. Now that you know how to do this, let's go ahead and show you the MailChimp version. And I'm just going to quickly click on pricing for MailChimp. Believe it or not, just to start playing with MailChimp, it's actually free. I think it's at something like 2,000 emails that if you get past that, you'll have to start paying. So definitely take advantage of the free option. Okay, so let's close out of that. Let's go over here to the templates. And I'm actually logged into my MailChimp right now, and I clicked on templates, and I just want to click on create template. And I'm just going to open up this very basic email template here. You can click on some of these other options here. You can even go to the themes and click on one of these options and just replace pictures, replace text, but it keeps the general formatted view of it. But we're just going to keep this super basic and just click on this basic option right here. I love this because it tells you, here's where you want your logo to go. So what I'm trying to do, let me jump back to the company setup and let me go into the preview of our current art approval email. And I had restored this back to what originally came into the program. So I basically want to kind of recreate this, but maybe instead of a gray background, I want a light blue background. I don't want all of these. I maybe only want Twitter and Facebook, or maybe I want Facebook and Instagram. So I can recreate those. And I can recreate any of this information in MailChimp as well. So, okay, so let me close out of this. Let me go back to MailChimp, and here's where I'm going to put the logo in. And notice I just clicked on the little pencil icon, and here's the blank image. I want to click on replace. I'm going to find my logo and hit insert. Boom, done. I got the logo in there. And now this text box is where I want, if we go back to the preview here, I'm just going to take this and copy this information. Close out of it again, head back to MailChimp, and I'm just going to select this, and I'll hit Control V to paste it. And here's where I can say I want that left aligned, or I want it center aligned. I can do all kinds of things like that. Here, I can just change the font. I can do all kinds of things in here. And if I save and close this and go to the design option, this is where I can now play with colors. Maybe I want a different color. Maybe I want this a little bit gray. There, maybe that's the color I want. So you can play with all kinds of formatting in here and knock yourself out. You can really play with all of the different style options that are available inside MailChimp. So I'm not going to show you all of them, but I think you can get the gist of it. Now, I want to add another text box in here, and that's where, let's go back to the preview here. That's where I want to put this verbiage. And I'm going to copy and paste it. And let's go back to MailChimp, and let's hit that edit button, and there we go. Okay, so, and we'll save and close that. And again, you can edit that verbiage. Look here in MailChimp, they already have the Twitter options. So I'm just going to type in Teesom software here. You would type in your Twitter account information here. I'm going to do the same for Facebook. And then look at this website. I'm just going to get rid of MailChimp there. and I'll put teesom.com in there. And here's where you would just add in Instagram or LinkedIn or any of those other options there. Okay, so now we want to add that button. So if I go back to the preview, this view approval button, I want it to actually be where they click on that, and it's the link variable that actually opens the document. So let's close out of this. Let's go back to MailChimp, and they have a button option, and I want to plop that right in the middle there. Obviously, we don't want it to say buy now. I want it to say view and submit. We do want it to be a web address, and what I'm going to type in here is the variable link, and hit save and close. Now, I want you to see what happens, because we're going to have to change this once we get this into HTML code. So if I click back on it, what it did is it put an HTTP : / in there that we don't need. And I can't change it in MailChimp, but I'm going to change it once we get our HTML code done. So again, you would click, I could click over here to change the style of the button. Maybe I wanted a different color. I like using Corel to figure out what my hex code color should be. So I can actually open up Corel and create a box and find a color that I like. So let's say I wanted this lime green. Well, look at that. Lime green is 00FF00. So if I go back to MailChimp and I come in here, and I need that hashtag sign, so it's 00FF00. And there's that lime green now. So you can do things like that to change colors of things. That's a really bright green. I don't know if I can keep that. All right, this last area here, we really don't need this. But if you want to put other text in, you can knock yourself out. All right, so once you're done with the formatting of this, I think I don't need this option either, so we can go ahead and delete that box out as well. Once we have things the way that we like them in here, we can go ahead and save and close, and then save and exit. And I've got to give my template a name, so I'm just going to call it Artwork Approval. And go ahead and hit save. All right, so here's my artwork approval template. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to export it as HTML. And just go ahead and click on Export Template. All right, so now we've got artwork approval HTML that downloaded. I can right click on this and say Show in Folder. And then here's the HTML. Now, if I double click on this and open it, it'll actually show me the preview. But I need to edit the text a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I can right click on it and say edit it with Notepad. And then it allows me to edit the code, or obviously this is the perfect way to do it, or I can change the extension on that. So, and I want to search, so I'm going to find that bracket, link, bracket, and let's go up here. All right, and I need to take out this HTTP, so all I need is that link option. Get out of any space or anything like that. And I'm going to go ahead and save this. And now what I can do is I can take all of this information and copy and paste it into Teesom. So let me go up to the very top. I'll click on Control A, copy, and let's go ahead and jump back over to Teesom. And I will click on here and say Control A and then Control V to paste in. Click out so you get the save, the success option, and then click on preview. And voila, there's our bright green view and submit button. If I click on it, it really doesn't know where to go yet because, again, I need to use it in an email format. So let's go ahead and let's send our email out just to kind of test that. All right, so let's click on our action button here. Let's click on send approval request, and let's go ahead and hit send. Okay, so here's our preview, and here's that hideous green, lime green view and submit button. Let's go ahead and click on it, and voila, it opens the order. So you just need to go into that text file and edit out that http:// and just have it just say bracket link in the text file option. Okay, I hope this helps, and have fun customizing these emails. But remember, there are a lot of them, so you want to save all of them individually. So if we go back to our company setup, you know, if you're doing the art approval email, make sure you save it as send art approval email. If you're doing the art approval reminder email, just save it as that so you know which one's which one you need to put in whatever field. And don't forget, let's go back to the easy method where you can just come into this HTML, use the find option to find what you're looking for, and search it that way. And that way you can just change anything that you find. As always, if you need additional help, feel free to contact us or use the live chat option. Thank you so much.